All right, guys. Well, welcome back to Chasing Greatness. This is our second part of an episode that we've had with Mr. David Lipford. So excited to have him on again. He's one of my best friends. He's somebody that I love living life with. And today we're going to talk about an extended conversation from what we talked about last time, which is where we play the game of life to win it because we're more prepared and we ask the right questions. We surround ourselves with the right people so that way we do the right things in life. And ultimately our commitment that aligns with all those things are going to allow us to expand all the beautiful things in our life. So we're going to just go ahead and dive in. And I want to start off today with just a simple question. In the last 30 days, what's been the most exciting thing to happen in your life?
Ooh,
let's start there.
That's
I like not preparing you for things like this. That's always fun for me.
Yeah, listen, with you, I'm prepared to be unprepared. So I would say more than anything, man, the last 30 days has just been, God, that's tough. You know, you got
I'll give you
work,
two
you
options
got
here.
parenting. Yeah.
Two options. You can give me something that's exciting that has happened in the last 30 days or something you're excited about that's going to happen in your life. Either way, I just want to hear some excitement to get us started.
Okay. I'm excited to really just share that my wife's walk with Christ and my wife's walk with other people that love equestrian type of environments where they're riding horses together and they're going out on trails, and she's been able to ride her horse more than ever. So her cup is really full.
Yeah.
So for me, that's exciting because I've been praying over that for a long time, that she could find people that love horses and love Jesus the way that she does and connect in that world. So
she's created a community from something that she's passionate about.
Yeah.
And along the way, she's got this community that's been created, and her faith is growing through this community as well.
That's right.
I actually did not even consider that as a part of our conversation, but that directly aligns with what we're going to talk about today and how community and culture impact our lives at the highest level. So with your wife, what are some of the things that she has changed or has changed within her since she's been hanging out with this new group of people doing things that she's been doing for a long time, riding horses? By the way, anybody who loves to ride horses, you need to go hang out with Kat because this girl loves some horses.
That's right.
And she enjoys it. She's really good at it as well.
Her community, you know, has always been around our friends and whatnot, but we've been going to church at the same place for quite a while now. So we change our community in the sense of, like, you know, we're more consistent than we've ever been at church, right? So on Sundays, you know, they always encourage you, like most churches do, to get into a group. Well, we have groups of all different kinds, and this is just a testament to Connect Church where we go. Is they had a group that, you know, rode horses and loved horses. So a close girlfriend of hers to me was like, you know, you should just go join a group, whatever you like to do. Like, what is it that you like to do? And obviously horses was that thing. So she connected there, and she stepped outside of her comfort zone because she changed her mindset of, okay, I need to go meet new people if I want new results, right? So if I want new results in my life and I want to ride more and I want to fill my cup more, I have to get out there and just meet new people and do new things.
All right.
So she already gives me the freedom to have my small group and my group of men. So it was just a beautiful way for her to change her environment to get what she wanted.
We learned a long time ago in school, right, that people need a couple of things in their life. And there's 6 direct human needs. I'm not going to dive into those things, but there are 2, what I'll call the 1-2 punch of needs. And that's the need to be seen and the need to be heard. And when you surround yourself and find a community that sees you, right, for who you are, what you love, and what you desire to be, and then a community that also listens to you, like when you're struggling, like when you're having a really good time. Like, I'll tell you one of the things about my community that I love, and let me rewind a little bit before we dive completely into community. In order to find your greatest community, you have to find your greatest self. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we talked about this field of dreams, right? This field of life where you have that, and first base is your character, right? And that's really about finding yourself and asking those 3 questions. You know, who am I? Who do I want to be? And who am I called to be?
Right.
And if you ask those questions, it's going to start to unravel and start to expose who you really need to be in your life. And then your community will start to attract. But then once you get this community, right, and you attract this community, what happens to a lot of people, at least from my experience, is one of two things. Either they don't accept the community, especially as they're growing in their character, or here's what also happens, they don't believe they deserve the community. And so being able to create a community that's accepting, that listens to you, that hears you, that sees you is so important. And she's found that. That's kind of wild. And I love that. I love that.
Yep. It's super important. I mean, obviously with community and culture, like part of the first base piece was what God wants you to be too.
Yeah.
So once she found out that character piece and who she felt God wanted her to be, she knew she had to find, she knew what second base looked like. And Kat was a ball player too. She played all the way up until Mason was pregnant, and she was pitching slow pitch out there. So she knows how to run those bases. So
that's right.
Getting the second base was cool to see her get that community or a piece of that community around her.
So let's dive in for you for a second when it talks to community and really the community that you've surrounded yourself with, right? The people that you've surrounded yourself with. When I think of community, I think of, and I've kind of made some notes for myself because I knew I wanted to share some very intentionalities around creating a great culture, a great community. We've been very fortunate, and I've seen it both ways. You know, in high school, I played for a team. We were ranked nationally. We had tons of guys that went on to play D1 ball. We had tons of guys that were drafted on my ball team in high school, and we lost. When it mattered, we lost because we were not connected. We were not aligned. We were not teammates, right? We were a bunch of great athletes individually that only cared about our needs and our desires. And so none of us felt safe or secure around each other. None of us gave each other hope. None of us created a lot of the things that I think are necessary for a community. What are some things important for you as you've been a part of a community and as you're building your own community, right? What are some things that are super important to you that are key characteristics of having a great community in your life?
You know, it's basically just trying to create, knowing where you want to go, and then trying to put the people around you that are going to help you get there.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm not going to learn how to swim from somebody who doesn't know how to swim.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was Edison or Benjamin Franklin or one of those guys. He said, you can't judge a fish by how he climbs a tree.
Yeah.
Right. So
I don't know, but I like that. I've never heard that quote, but I like it.
you know what I'm saying though? Like, if I want to be a tree climber, I need to go be around tree climbers.
That's right.
So the community piece of it was just God's calling to try to be the greatest version of myself that I could be.
So the first thing is that you wanted your community to be aligned with the things that you desired to be about.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I like that.
So if they're in the middle of negativity, if they're in the middle of a lot of things that are going to hinder me from where I want to go, I love them and I will love on them, but I can't stay there.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I have to be a part of positivity. I have to be learning and constantly seeking knowledge from people that are coming back. The old Chinese proverb is that you can't learn where you want to go unless you're speaking to the person who's coming back from that path.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to the people who's coming back from where I want to go.
That's right.
Right. So that's part of chasing greatness. And I think the community piece of it, along with meeting you, along with the culture piece of getting here, was the game changer for me. Truly was like, everybody is praying before we start our days.
Yeah.
I knew in my heart I wanted to be closer to God, but I didn't know how to get there. But I'm like, this company is unreal. They're literally praying over what they're getting ready to do for the day, like 5 days a week. That's unbelievable. So that for me was like, okay, this is the culture and the type of community and the type of people I need to be with in doing, you know, what I want to do.
When I think about great communities, when I think about creating beautiful cultures that are built upon belief systems, that are built upon standards, that are built upon, you know, clear principles in life, right? The things that really matter, the things that are priceless, not just things that are valuable. I see that there's a lot of struggle and there's a lot of sacrifice and there's a lot of pain as you're building that. Have you felt that at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're, as Christians, we're not, we're promised pain. Like it's literally going to be a part of our lives.
Right.
It's part of the prayer of Jabez, like, right, when they named Jabez, that name means pain. Literally the name means pain. And back then, the name meant a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's just what we're promised, but what we have to do is surround ourselves by people that can help us through that pain, who have been through that pain.
What are some of the pains that you've gone through as you've continued to be a part of a culture? And I'm very proud of our culture. I'm very proud of our community. And, in our community, the thing about it is that it evolves, it constantly is growing. But what's some of the pain that you've experienced as we've grown and as you've been a part of our community?
Man, it's just the normal pains in real estate is you're dealing with a lot of uncontrollables. You're dealing with the market. You're dealing with a lot of different business partners and clients and so forth. So coming from a world of salary position, and I mean I had a lot of tips back in food and beverage too, but like coming from a very predictable world, like in country clubs, I don't have to sell anything.
Right.
That market's already there. People are coming to that country club because they love the golf course, they love all the things, right? But in a world of real estate where it's 100% commission, it's like you got no net, but you got no ceiling either.
Right.
So the fear that's in that transition of going from mostly something predictable to something that's unpredictable.
That's right.
That pain is going, whew, God, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right things?
Yeah.
Am I learning from the right people? Am I focused on the right things? Because everybody can work, but what are you working on?
So what I just heard there is like some of the pain come from uncertainty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having uncertainty, funny enough, uncertainty is one of those 6 human needs that we have to have. It's part of the adventure. It's part of the journey, right? And as you're building out a culture and as you're building out a community of people, right, that are all aligned but are all living different lives, right? Part of the pain is not knowing how someone's going to respond, how long someone's going to want to stay in your life, right? Because the truth of the matter is that we're all generally in seasons with each other. And we want to make those seasons as beautiful as possible. When you're in spring, you don't want to be worrying or thinking or hoping that you're in winter. You want to enjoy spring, right?
That's right.
And spring has a lot to offer that's completely different than winter. But then when you get to winter, you don't want to complain about winter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You want to go and I want to enjoy winter. And so all these beautiful seasons that we have with these people are super important. But the uncertainty, right, that we deal with is something that we actually need in our life and we're drawn to.
Yeah, and the safety and security for me when dealing with, what we do is knowing that everyone has faith. Like faith is a huge part of what we do.
Right.
I think if you're not right with God first, and have a deep relationship with him, it's much harder. Let's
lean into safety and security. So safety, at the core of what it ultimately means, is the avoidance of something.
Yeah.
That's what safety is if you want to live a safe life, you avoid things that create unsafety in your life, right?
Right.
Whereas security is the preventative measures that are put into place, right, to not have pain or struggle or sacrifice, right? That's what the security portion is. And when you look at people that have already paved the way for you in community, they're going to give you, right? They're going to give you the safety because they can tell you the things to avoid.
Right.
Right? But when you're building a community of people, you have to also be prepared. That's the prevention of, right? To create security. Like one of the reasons I think people like you feel so secure when you come into the office and we're starting to eliminate that uncertainty in your life and create more predictabilities is that you've put more structure in your life. Right? That's actually security.
Yeah.
People talk about freedom. I want to be free. I remember when I got into real estate, I wanted to be free like everybody else. I wanted to come and go as I pleased. And for the first year, I had a phenomenal first year, and I felt free, but I didn't feel free. I saw freedom, and freedom, what I saw, at least at that point in my life, was not free to me because there was so much uncertainty.
Right.
And so I go, holy cow, I need to be more prepared. I need to have a schedule. I need to have things that have processes. I need to put systems and structures in place. And the more structure and systems I put into place, believe it or not, the more freedom I had to go out there and be the best version of myself. I was being a version of myself,
Right.
but I wasn't being the best version of myself. And a lot of people, I think, get confused, and they think that safety and security, or they think that freedom comes from not being responsible, or freedom comes from not having anything structured or under control. And freedom is actually the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Because what do you want to be free from? What do you want to be free from?
Right. Well, a lot of people just want to be free from structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want any part of that.
Free from responsibility. But
Well,
for you in particular, and I'm probably directing this towards
Yeah.
you, what would you, like when you think of freedom, what do you want to be free from?
So
Anxiety,
yeah,
right?
worry.
Pain, worry,
Mm-hmm.
struggle, right? Stress. We want to be free from all those things. You know how you prevent that? You create a secure life that's structured with pre-decided decisions in your life.
Right.
That creates a beautiful culture.
Yeah.
And when they see you do it, and they see people like me do it who are wild, man, we like to get after it. We have tons of energy, and we go full throttle. Here's the part about the culture and the community. They start to see, oh my gosh, they're always happy. They're not miserable. They're not negative. They're very attractive, not physically attractive, but they're attractive because of the energy that they put off.
Mm-hmm.
That starts to create a culture and a community that feels very safe and secure, and then they're drawn into being structured as well. And then you have this trickle-down effect of people all super free, very, very comfortable in accomplishing things that they never dreamed of.
Right.
Right?
I think it comes back to school. Since we're little kids, we're put in an environment where you go to the first class, you go to the second class, you go to the third class, and your day is structured. And then you're going to come home and you're going to eat your peanut butter and jelly and, all the
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
But then we become adults, all of a sudden we become so smart. And we're just like, I got this. I figured out life.
Yeah.
I'm in my 20s or 30s, but then you get into work, right? So, okay, you're working a job. Well, what is that? Structure. You're going to clock in at this time. You're going to clock out at this time. You're going to get paid. You're going to pay your bills, right?
Yeah.
So we're in a world of that already. So people always are constantly trying to break free of that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've learned from Team Wilson and our culture was really I couldn't go where I wanted to go unless I backwards engineered everything and said, I need to be doing this, that, and this, and the other. So I'm so complete at the end of the day. I know I did everything I could have done.
Did everything that you could. We have a saying that I learned a long time ago, and I just love it, and I share it with people all the time, and I share it with us all the time, is I want to get to the end of my day and look at myself in the mirror and go, I've done my best, and my best was good enough.
That's right.
Right? I laid it all out. I went to bed. I sleep really good. And this is no knock on people who don't sleep good, because there's a lot of reasons why people don't sleep good. But I think one of the major reasons people don't sleep well is because they're not tired. They're not exhausted. And the reason they're not tired and exhausted because they haven't given their best.
Yeah.
Right? And I see that all the time. I see people kind of almost do good.
Right.
And we know that just doing good isn't enough. You have to push yourself beyond what your mind tells. Your mind is programmed, literally programmed, thousands, millions of years. It's literally programmed to avoid pain.
That's right. No, don't touch that. No, don't jump off of there. No, don't do this.
It's programmed to avoid anything that potentially could. Hey, I don't want to get in the relationship because she might break up with me.
Yeah. Fear of the
Right?
unknown. Yeah.
I don't want to start this job because I might not succeed. Right? I don't want to take a chance and make that one extra call because they might tell me they don't want to do business with me.
That's right.
Right? And our minds play tricks on us all the time. Don't make the extra call. I love calling you my bulldog because you take your mind out of it sometimes and you just see the bone and you go, I'm going to get the bone. And that's what we have to learn how to do in life is you're chasing greatness, right? Greatness is that thing that you have to pursue with every ounce of your being. And that's so hard to do if you don't have a beautiful community around. So communities, here's the thing about communities. Communities give you safety and security, but communities also give you extreme encouragement. What are some things in your life right now that you're being encouraged with?
It would just be my prayer group of guys encouraging me. other guys around me from all different walks of life. You're one of those, and really just encourage me there. Encouragement from the Word, of course, encouragement from, my family, my friends.
Yeah.
But, those are all really strong encouragements. But I will tell you one thing is that you also have to encourage yourself.
Yeah.
I did it all in the beginning when I started here. I'd be on that YouTube encouragement videos. I wanted like all the motivational speakers from all different ways, because when I walked in, I wanted to feel like I could run through this wall.
Yeah.
Which
Do you have something that you say to yourself to get yourself started every day, like a mantra, if you will, of affirmations? And I mean, there's all different ways that people do it, but as you get your day started, is there something that you say to yourself to encourage yourself to go be the best version of yourself?
Yeah, there's no plan B.
No plan B. I love that.
Yeah,
simple.
It's very simple.
Very simple.
I got no backup. There's nobody coming to save me.
Yeah.
Who's gonna pull the boats, right?
Yeah.
Or we're gonna burn the boats.
That's right. No plan B.
No plan B. We come to take the island.
Yeah. And the thing about it is by simply saying that to yourself, that level of encouragement says, I'm full throttle. I'm not looking backwards. In the book of Luke chapter 9, specifically 62, because I had a lesson from my caddy when I was playing golf a couple weekends ago. I'm sitting here playing, and I I push a shot right on a green, and I haven't pushed a shot right in many, many holes that day. And he come to me, he goes, what just happened to you there? You pushed the ball right. I haven't seen that in forever, right? And I said, well, I was thinking about my last 2 or 3 times I played this hole, and I pulled it left. And he got ticked at me, like got in my face. He says, in the book of Luke, it literally says, the man who puts his hand on a plow and looks backwards is not fit to serve the kingdom of God. Ooh. And I was like, oh, Shaka Khan.
Let's go.
What?
I like that, caddy.
And I will just tell you, at first I was like, bro, you better back up. And then what did I do? I listened and I accepted it for what it was. And the lesson that I learned is that you can't be thinking about the crap in your past when you're pursuing greatness in your life and you're chasing greatness in your life.
That's it.
Right? And so encouragement is super important. One of the things that I share with myself every morning, I spend, and this sounds ridiculous, guys, but it's just the truth, is I spend anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours every morning getting myself right for my day so I can fill everyone else's cup up. And that's my goal. But the thing that I do before I walk into the office or before I start my day and get engaged is I have 4 statements that I make to myself. The first statement, and these are all encouragements to me. These are mantras, or these are things that I affirm myself with as I push forward, knowing to be true. The first thing I say is, die to yourself today. Ben, you got to die to yourself, meaning today's not about you. Today is about everyone else that you value and that you look to take care of or to create value in their life. Everybody that you care the most about, it's about them.
That's good.
The second thing is, it's not mine. It's a simple statement, right? Everything that I've been given in my life, I don't own it. I'm a steward of it. I've been blessed with it. The third thing that I tell myself is I don't get days off. We live in a world where everybody wants to take time off. They literally work their butts off so they can get off. They can take time off. They can go on vacation and stuff like that. And it became very aware and very intentional for me to tell myself every day I don't get days off. If I'm chasing greatness, I don't get days off. For instance, I wouldn't take a day off of being a husband.
Right. You're still a father.
I wouldn't take a day off of being a father, right? If I'm running companies, these are like little children. All my little companies are like little children of mine. If I partner with people, those are relationships, right? Those are marriages, if you will.
Yeah.
So I can't take a day off. And so I got myself reprogrammed to where I don't take days off anymore. I rest really well.
There you go.
I rest daily and weekly and quarterly, but don't take days off. And then the fourth thing I say to myself, and this is probably one of the most important things, is as long as you get the first 3 right, you have no limitations in your life.
I like it.
I have no limits.
No limits.
There's no limits. And for someone like me, brother, I don't want limits in my life. I don't want to be told no. I don't want to be told no.
Yeah.
I literally want to live a life that goes and expands Prayer of Jabez. Guys, I'm going to give you all a couple of books to read about culture and about communities, and specifically about expanding your communities, expanding your territory. One of my favorite books is The Prayer of Jabez, right? And the prayer, you've read The Prayer of Jabez, right? What are some takeaways that you've taken from Prayer of Jabez?
Man, just the most impactful thing for me is that nobody even knows that it was in the Bible. Like, for the most part, it was super small. Like, I mean, 1 Corinthians 4, I think, is where it's at. And there's a bunch of names in there, and it's like reading through the names, and I'm like, what is happening?
Right.
I'm reading a bunch of names. Oh, and then there's Jabez. And it literally just has a little blip.
One little snapshot.
One little snapshot.
One little prayer that changed a lot of people's lives, including his.
Correct. But when he's asking for his to expand his territory, he's asking for the hand of God. You know, some people ask for the face of God, but what he's asking for the hand of God is to remove him from the pain and to make sure that he doesn't cause pain. Yeah. You know, and it really hit home for me because especially in what I do in a servant posture, in a servant industry, you don't want to cause anyone pain. You don't want to hurt anyone. All you want is blessings, and you want to expand your territory.
That's right.
That's all I want.
That's right.
And it's a really simple thing, but has so much power.
Yeah. Well, today has been another great conversation. I feel like you and I can keep this conversation going on for days, years, months, you know, and long beyond what we actually have time for. But I appreciate your time today. Guys, if you all are enjoying what we're doing, make sure that you go ahead and like what we're doing, right? Make sure that you follow what we're doing, and make sure that you stay engaged in what we're doing. Reach out, encourage people like David to continue to expand his territory, to expand the things that he really wants to accomplish with his life, his career, his family. It's super important to us that we continue to live our legacy before we leave it. That's very important to me. So there's 4 things I'm going to tell you that I believe in every great culture that you have to give and you have to have. And number 1, you got to create vision if you want to have a great culture, if you want to have a great community. Number 2, you have to create hope. How do the people in your community play a part in what you're trying to build, right? You have to give them hope. You have to establish trust, which means you got to do what you say you're going to do, and you've got to own when you miss the mark. That's establishing trust. Trust isn't just about doing things the right way. It's about actually stepping up and correcting when you do things the wrong way and owning it. And then the final thing is, in every great community that I've seen, there's this one beautiful thing. It's called grace. You got to give people grace. People are not perfect. And you give them grace. You take these 4 characteristics. You take these 4 things in life. Expand on those. You're going to have a phenomenal community. If you want to be a part of our community, whether it's buying or selling a house, we want to be here for you. This podcast is about sharing life, growing life, and continuing to expand our territory as well while we're chasing greatness. And so we're going to continue to give you a lot of little tools to use, experiences that we've had to be able to continue to chase greatness. We love you guys, and we hope that you continue to chime in and to tune in to everything that we're building here.